Hi, it's Dave March, the spy guy, coming to you live from the White House Situation Room because no, why not? Anyways, want to start sharing more videos and talk about different things, and I'm trying to do a video audio blog, author's blog. But today I kind of woke up and I was like, I was following this story last night, and I thought I'd talk about it. So there is something called on YouTube. It's called something tube. Sorry. So I mean, for not having this going on. So there was like, no, let me go check my sent email. It's the easiest one. To Transparency Tube. Sorry. Anyways, Transparency Tube is this like site set up by these people, so-called well-meaning professors, I guess, where they're rating YouTube shows based on their political leanings, and they're trying to be nice, but like a lot of people on the left, they don't well-meaning people. I assume the left. And they're like rating shows, on their biases, and of course their biases are heavily leaning to the left, where they're not like there's no like far left shows or anything like that. But the problem is that they're going after like shows that are not ostensibly political. There's a show called, one of the YouTubers I watch is called Clownfish TV. Clownfish is like this pop culture Disney blog, and they talk about shows like She-Ra and The Mandalorian and like stuff like that. And they're not really politically, they're like, if you watch them, they're center left. That's their bit. And but these guys got rated like right wing, anti-SJW, and this is on this site that's being built specifically for reporters to report on content of video shows. And like so Clownfish does their video, and they talk about it, and they talk about how this site, they called up this site and said, hey, you need to please take us down from your site. We know that you've done this for other channels, but you're not doing this. Please do this for us. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. And Clownfish is like, they sent like, there's a lot of emails apparently flowing from the owner and like who are a married couple, and they're very nice, and they're like, what are you doing? You're like trying to destroy our channel. We're just small independent business people trying to make a living here. And the husband's like, I'm a libertarian. The wife is like, I'm card-carrying Democrat. We are not alt-right, as the wife says, Yahtzees, because they don't want to say the other word because that'll get you bleeped on YouTube. Yeah, there's a whole YouTube censor thing going on too that most people don't know. I'm small enough, no one cares. Watch this. I'm never going to get monetized here. But there's like a friend of mine, he posted a video and he couldn't say the word colored because that was bad by YouTube. I'm like, colored. Anyways. Yeah, there's a list of words. You can look them up. There's some people are updating them all the time. Like there's a lot of left-wing, like pro-LGBTQ videos out there that get demonetized all the time because they hire these guys in India to do all their and in Africa, where they're very strict on culture, where they don't believe in that kind of thing, to do their content moderation, and so they'll get stripped for that. But I'm getting sidetracked on YouTube censorship. So Clownfish has called these guys up, and then they said, well, maybe we'll sue you. And the guys at the show are like, oh no, you can't sue us because of this obscure Gamergate case. And I'm like, I don't think that these idiots know what they're doing. They have a bit of what I call a smartest guy in the room syndrome. You watch anything by Newt Gingrich, he has it, but I think he is actually usually the smartest guy in the room. So my parents were both profs. I'm aware of this thing. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm just above average on intelligence, but I've seen a lot of people behave really stupidly with who have much higher IQs than me, because they're used to being able to run around rings around most people, and then they're never up to fighting like when they run into people of equal or greater intelligence. This is the first time in their life. And also, you get a bunch of average people working together, shooting. It kind of compounds out. You get 5 average people, they're going to be much smarter than one super smart guy, because, you know, kind of just adds up a little bit. So people shooting the shit and brainstorming will come up with stuff. They'll think things through, and anyways, what I'm getting back to is the Clownfish TV situation and this YouTube, or this in Transparency Tube. So I went to their website, this Transparency Tube, and I looked up who amongst my favorite YouTubers is on it. And I follow this guy named Viva Frey, and he does a weekly live stream on Sunday nights with a guy called Robert Barnes. Robert Barnes is a major civil liberties attorney. He also likes to sue people a lot for defamation, mainly for his clients. He hates the fact that there's these big corporations and politicians who come along and go after the little people, like the Sandman. He didn't defend Sandman, but he defended the rest of the kids who were on that bus, where all those newspapers defamed them. And he's cleverly tried to sue them up and out of the way, give out apologies. So that's the kind of the Covington kids. So yeah, so he's on this thing, and I'm like, hey, did you guys? So I write them an email. I haven't heard back from them, but I think they'll get other people will say, hey, have you heard about this thing? And I wouldn't be surprised if Viva's working on a video right now, going like, oh my God, who are these people to write me this way? But it turns out to me, a lot of these legal shows, there's a lot of legal shows out there. Like, I'm part of a nerd community. I go on with these other nerds and we talk about nerd stuff. But there's this Viva Frey, they're part of a legal law show community, and they bring in other lawyers on their shows and they do live streams with them. And I'm like, how many of these guys on, sorry, I keep forgetting the name here, on Transparency Tube, how many of the shows are legal shows? How many of these legal shows will just sue Transparency Tube for being obnoxious jerks? And you might win every single case there, but hundreds of lawyers having nothing better to do than to sue you for defamation because you defamed their channel is going to be hilarious to watch. Defamation, according to Robert Barnes, who I watched, and this is not a legal opinion, I'm just saying what he said, but he's done a lot of these, so I assume he knows what he's doing. He says, if you want to defame any group of people, make sure you always defame any group of people more than 50 people. You want to call the law community corrupt. You don't want to call individual lawyers corrupt, because you can defame the legal community, but you can't defame an individual. At least that's how it works in the States. So so you just defamed Viva Frey and Robert Barnes as far-right Nazis. You get to be sued by them. And you can, anyone else, you can do the same if you're called left-wing, if they don't want to be left-wing. You can get sued by all these groups of people. And it doesn't matter that you might ultimately win every case. That's money. Lawyers cost money. Trust me, I have a lawyer. I don't do much with him because it costs a lot of money. But charging $400, these guys are charging you $400 an hour to write you checks and other things, and that's going to come out of your pay. My father's estate cost me $40,000 to settle. So that's not a small, significant amount of change. Legal fees on housing, the houses I've bought and sold, that's a bit of money. I would not want to be Transparency Tube when hundreds of lawyers start realizing they can just sue them for defamation, and it's just a tax write-off for them, and it's not for Transparency Tube when they start getting these lawyers sending them summons and bringing them to court. And sure, you might be able to settle with some of them, but that's still settling with them is going to cost you money. Some might just want an apology and you taken off your channel, off your site. That's going to cost you money. But you're going to have the lawyers who are doing it for themselves for free, and you're going to have other people, all the channels they're defaming, just hiring lawyers. This is what lawyers dream about, an endless supply of defamation cases. So Sure, you want to do a thing like this, you need to do it you need to go after people who have at least 50 people. Go after big businesses. You want to defame CNN or Fox News, they could take it. But you want to go after small independent creators with 15,000 or 100, in Clownfish's 130,000 viewers who are just trying to make a living, and you're a bully. Anyways, I'm really late. I should have done my 10,000 steps by now, and I'm just starting to get it done by now because I was up stupid late for no particular reason, and I need to stop that. But that's, at one point I'll be up at like 5 a.m. and I'll be waking up at 5 p.m. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's the situation. Can't do anything but stay up late and get drunk. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm the Spy Guy. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll try and get back to doing more about writing maybe when I get home. You can also follow me on Nerd Report, where I'm now kind of like the co-host at 1 o'clock on EST and 10 o'clock EST. Sorry, PST. And we're doing like an hour-long real nerd stuff. So, hey, like, share, subscribe, and have fun. Bye.